Imagine being in a community that talks so much rubbish and fails so much that a jumped up YouTuber can make 44 separate videos about those fails. Well, that community is the Flat Earth one. I am that jumped up YouTuber, and we move on to episode 45 of the Flat Earth Fail Compilation. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick word from me about today's sponsor, Shortform. Now, as a clue to what Shortform is, Santos Bonucci has recommended many books on syncretism, none of which would be on Shortform. Now, Shortform offers comprehensive text and audio summaries, as well as interactive exercises, analysis and discussion, widening your understanding beyond just the book itself. So for the price of about one book a month, you can get access to thousands of ideas. And whether you're a listener or a reader, they have options to suit all preferences. Now, personally, I love using Shortform because you get an incredible amount of information in such a small amount of time. It's great for when you're waiting for something and you don't have too long to wait, but you don't want to get bored still. For example, I was waiting in the post office the other day to pick up a parcel and they were taking ages to find it. I simply opened up Shortform and read the book guide on An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth by Commander Chris Hadfield. It's a lovely little book about how to live better lives on Earth using the lessons he learnt from being in space. But the best thing about Shortform is the interactiveness, where you can engage with and reflect on the ideas you've learned, putting them into practice immediately. Sign up for Shortform using my link below, where you'll get a free trial and then $50 off if you sign up for the annual plan. Let me know in the comments what you intend to read on Shortform first. Right, back to today's video, which, as I said earlier, is episode 45 of the Flat Earth Fail compilation series. I have laid on another 4 Flat Earth fails just for your viewing pleasure, and we start with DITRH, Mr. David Weiss, who has made a video about his Flat Earth app. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, Strawman Dan here. And before I start, I just want to tell you all about what is by far my favourite app of all time. Yes, you guessed it, it's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I know, for years I have been anti-Flat Earth with my highly edited weekly anti-Flat Earth scripted rants. But after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. I'm sorry.
I don't sound like that, do I? I don't know if I should be flattered or not. I wonder if David will give me commission for any sales he makes for his app on that one. Dear oh dear, what a loser. Well, you will be very pleased to hear that the next fail comes from Flat Earth Fail legend himself, Mr. Level Earth Observer. Now, he's looking at some old space shuttle footage and trying to claim that it's fake. Here we go.
Today, me and my mate Don are going to do a quick retro space review. Take it away, Don.
Space station is a serious place.
And proof we're all kids.
Now, essentially, when we look at the older stuff, like we're doing here, silly astronaut tricks, essentially this is the space shuttle era, which was essentially zero G-planes for the most part of this weightless environment charade that they were trying to sell, which is why you get loads of cuts here. In more modern times, they use harnesses and interact with augmented reality. But this older time, all zero G-planes, and a few party tricks as well thrown in there.
So LEO's only explanation here is a zero-G plane. Now, of course, that gives you about 20 seconds of weightlessness per arc that it flies. So let's keep that in mind, shall we?
At heart, there's a little aki hockey.
This silly senior man supposedly pressing him above his head. This isn't even a zero-G plane. I think this is just a silly setup, which is why the so-called astronaut's got a cable coming off his thigh here.
Yes, because one cable on your thigh would keep an astronaut balanced in that manner, wouldn't it, Leo? Not really.
No doubt aiding and taking the weight here for our mate to try and sell this silly lie.
Weightlifting. And more stupid tricks. We don't know what that is. You're scared.
Of course, throwing food around again is a favourite of these people to sell this silly lie. But no one in their right mind would do that, throw food around in the same environment that you've got all sorts of nasty particles floating about. You just wouldn't do that.
All sorts of nasty particles? Like what? There is no evidence to suggest that the air is not as clean as the air down here on Earth. Now the surfaces perhaps are dirtier, but the air, no.
Or Ron's grouper impersonation. Don't do it. Oh.
Same with the water in an electrical environment, throwing it and blowing it about. You just wouldn't do it. It's ridiculous.
Actually, seasoned astronauts do get annoyed at new ISS recruits for doing just this, especially with that coloured red juice they use in case it gets on any of the sensitive equipment.
Get him, get him. It's proof we're really kids at heart. A little rugby on the middeck. Oh, we got that was
Just all the usual party tricks. It's just so obviously a charade. It's so obvious. Even space fans are now seeing how obvious this is. It's not about space exploration. Things could be far more exciting now for the space fans. It's just the same old party tricks recycled over and over again for different generations. The only difference is the tech has improved, so you get less cuts.
I mean, you say all of this, Leo, but not once have I seen you address the single shot 50-minute tour of the International Space Station. Just look at it. He's floating around, the iPad is floating around, things are floating around, and he's moving between sections. How does he move through that tunnel if he's using wires? And it's a single shot for 50 minutes, so it can't be a zero-G plane either. So this is my challenge to you, Level Earth Observer. Sit down and watch that entire 50-minute single shot tour of the ISS and then debunk it. You won't, because you can't. Right, moving on to our next fail, we have Chris, CC from Westchester County, New York. Get ready for this one because I believe this is the biggest fail in the history of the Flat Earth Fail Compilation. Here we go.
So we're at a New York Country Club. New York Country Club. Now that right over there is the New York City skyline.
Okay, so you are at New York Country Club and you are looking towards New York City skyline. Great.
Let's take a look and see how it comes out here. There we go. It's a little foggy. We're getting a storm coming in. That's the Freedom Tower right there. Now we're approximately 25 to 30 miles away. I'll take the Google map reading.
Now, I'll save you the bother here, matey. It is between 26 and 30 miles, depending on which part of the skyline you are looking at.
Oh, there it is. Okay, now that's the Empire State Building, obviously. You can see that in the distance.
Indeed, the Empire State Building being around 27.35 miles from your location.
I have it focused. It's hard to tell because the sun is just beating down right here. But you can clearly see the Freedom Tower right here. That's the bottom. You're probably missing about 20 levels there. But, my friends, you should not be able to see this 20 freaking miles away. 25, 30 miles away. Come on, guys.
Right, okay, so you're saying there's about 20 levels missing from the bottom of the Freedom Tower. Now, I don't think that's the Freedom Tower, I think that's the Central Park Tower. I've recently been to New York City and I took a bit of time to understand which skyscrapers were which. Now, I could be wrong, of course, but I'm pretty sure it is, so let's assume that that is the Central Park Tower. And that tower is 472 metres tall and it's 26.31 miles away from Chris at the New York Country Club. So let's get our curve calculator out. Now, Chris is at the New York Country Club and I can see from the path in his opening shot that he's right next to the Country Club building, which has an elevation of 190 metres. So we'll put 191 metres in here to allow for the tripod height. The distance is 42.34 in kilometres, and would you look at that, there should be nothing hidden whatsoever. You have literally debunked yourself, Chris, with this video, and it's possibly one of the worst fails, as I said, in the history of this compilation. Now, our last fail today comes from a guest host in the form of channel friend Where's Wally. Now, Where's Wally is looking at a rocket launch from a flat Earth perspective. Should be interesting. Away you go, buddy.
G'day everybody, Where's Wally here, and thank you Dan for allowing me to bring you a video containing two of our most favourite subjects, huge rockets and flat earthers failing when trying to debunk the aforementioned huge rockets. Now, on the 14th of January, SpaceX launched a Falcon Heavy, and it was a spectacular launch because it was right on dusk. And it was viewed by many people, and I and a few others have been having a ball with this one, mate. Now, this is a short summary of the timeline of failure. Now, initially a flat earther called Wide Awake, he took a rather excellent video from the west coast of Florida looking east, and he was about 188 kilometres away, watching the rocket with a P1000. He captured the launch boost back and re-entry burns, but he was unable to see the landing burn, for some particular reason. Now, an Aussie flat earther named No Fanfare, yes, you heard me, a Aussie flat earther, second only to the rarest Antarctic flat earther, so elusive that only one or two of them have ever been spotted on Friend Finder. Well, No Fanfare, he decided that the rocket appeared just a few seconds after the SpaceX audio counted 3, 2, 1 would blast off. 2, 1, engine full power, and liftoff of USS 67. Go Falcon Heavy, go Space Force. And his claim was that the rocket was visible only after a second or so. After he heard that, he had all the proof of his desired flatness. Now, No Fanfare, he did actually quite a good job of matching the two videos based on the SpaceX audio.
And for Wide Awake, from his location, there has to be 25 rocket heights in the air before Wide Awake would even see it. Just doesn't seem to match with reality. Now, a globe Earth would require the rocket to be 25 rockets high. I'm not sure why he used rockets as a measure. There was just one problem. The SpaceX audio, for reasons various, was about 35 seconds delayed. Whoopsies, No Fanfare. Which put the rocket appearing just above Wide Awake's horizontal just about 5 seconds after liftoff. Anyone who was watching would see this was clearly not correct, as it was barely clearing the launch tower in one video while it was supposedly appearing in the other just above the horizon. I told No Fanfare and Wide Awake that the rocket was about 2 kilometres up when it was first seen. It wasn't, it was actually 3.4, but hey, I make mistakes too sometimes. So both of them tried real hard to excuse it away. They got a builder's level and they measured the drop to the tree line.
He's just dropped in. Oh, look at that. He's lower. He's lower than the top of the level here. You watch. Watch here. Doing that.
So props to them for trying, but when No Fanfare did his maths, he got an answer for the amount of flight path that was hidden by the trees and the perspective, and it was...
his observer spot, and here's where the rocket launched. That's the line that is angled up with his camera to go above that tree line. Let's take a random guess, and let's just say it's 06191 degrees, going across the top of that tree line.
0.6191 degrees, that's oddly specific.
And wide awake's 115 miles away from where the rocket launched. Oh, look at that. So it's 1.2427 miles from launch to view.
1.2427 miles? Okay, I think I know where this is going.
Where's Wally? He had that in kilometres. 2.0 kilometres, and he showed it on the... if we go here into miles and convert that to kilometres, let's see what we get.
Mate, you could just hit the menu button drop down and change it to kilometres. Just saying.
Look at that, will you? 1.9999999993179. That's like about 2.0 kilometres, I think, there, Wally, isn't it?
1.99999 kilometres, hey? Whoa, so good. Pity you didn't check for yourself to see what the actual drop would be. You might have been able to prove Wally wrong. What you actually needed was 3.4 kilometres. Oh dear. What do you think, Dan?
And this guy thinks the Earth is flat. Amazing. Thanks for that, Wally. Now, Wally's video has a whole load more fails in it. So if you want to watch the rest of his video, then head to his channel now. I'll put a link in the description so you can watch it. It is well worth a watch. Thanks, Wally. Right, that is it for another edition of the Flat Earth Fail compilation. What a beauty, but for now, we are all done and dusted. Thank you so much for watching today. It truly is appreciated. Look, I'd really love it if you shared this one because that Chris fail is phenomenal. Share it, let all your friends know. It's one of the best fails from a flat earther you'll ever see. And of course, if you really enjoyed the video, subscribe to and hit that like button. Thank you. Just another quick shout out from me regarding today's sponsor. Just enough time to once again thank Shortform for sponsoring today. Remember, use my link below to sign up for Shortform, where you'll get a free trial and then $50 off if you choose to sign up for the annual plan. My name is Simon Dan. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday for the return of Scientific Lee. See you then.